We are live. Hello, everyone, and welcome back into this new live. I am Stefania Arca, and today with me we have Tom Lawrence for ending our leadership series. So, Tom and I, we have talked for 4 episodes plus this one, so 5th episode about the leadership word. So actually, we do believe that leadership is changing, and we need to stay up to date in order for achieving the outcome that we have predicted in our business plan, if we might say something like that. So whatever was working like 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, it doesn't work anymore. We have a new generation coming up. We have new cultures. We have people more aware about where they want to go. They are more ambitious than whatever they were back in the days. So Tom and I, we just believe that we need to update our leadership. So that's what was our goal during this series. And so this is like the last episode about this leadership talk for building a new generation leaders. And today we are going to talk about legacy. So welcome, Tom, and happy to have you in one more episode here live with me.
Thank you, Stefania. Great to be here.
Good. So I will just start immediately with the topic, and what I want to focus on as a first topic is the idea about delegation. So I really do believe that whatever business owners, whatever team leader actually needs to be able to take time off, because we are human, we follow nature laws, and we need the time off for recharging our batteries. And what actually is happening recently is just people are busier and busier than whatever had been before, and they can't take time off anymore. So doing like following the new leadership style just allows you to delegate a part of your pressure on you to some new leaders, some team members, some departments. And in this way, when you split all the responsibilities between different people, on your side as a business owner, you can just be more happy because you have a lighter pressure on you, and this is just a benefit for you and for your health. On the other side, your team is more happy because they get the motivation for keep on going, for staying with you. They just love the challenge, and they want to become the better version of themselves day after day. So Tom and I, we had discussed really so many times during this series. So if you want to know more, please have a look at the previous episode that you can find here on LinkedIn or as well on YouTube. There's going to be on my YouTube channel a playlist just about this series. So you're more than welcome to watch also those episodes. And we do not believe in micromanagement. So we just believe that you need to transfer a part of your knowledge, a part of your risk capacity to your people. They need to be able to make mistakes. It's a part of the process. You need to count it. The mistakes, of course, needs to be controllable, but it's the way that they have for growing, for self-improving themselves, and after they got wrong once, the next time they're not going to repeat the same mistakes, so they're going to get right. Let's say something like that. So at the beginning, training your leadership team might sound to some founders I talk with like it's a waste of time, like I don't actually have the time for training people right now. My agenda is so busy and I can't really invest the time with someone that already doesn't know what to do. And I do believe that this is the wrong mindset, because actually you need to see it as an investment. So you're wasting time today for gain benefit tomorrow, which means that you have a free time in your agenda, and with this free time you can just decide if taking time off for yourself, or if just start a new project, a new journey in your life, so you can actually scale your business. And on the other side, your new person, because it's different from you and you can't create actually a clone of you, the new person might come up with new ideas which might refresh actually your service, your business, and your client experience. Isn't it, Tom?
Yeah, I mean, basically what you're describing is empowering your people. It's basically giving your power to your people. So as an example, as you just described, like if you take time off or you have a day or two away from the business, how's it going to run? How are things going to work? And the only way for that to work is for people to work it. And as you say, the best way to do it is to develop your people, or help them to develop themselves so that they're good enough to do those things for you, to take some of the responsibility that you have, so you can delegate it to them and empower them to work in a certain way, work in their own way, make their own mistakes, as you say, learn from those mistakes, and keep going and keep progressing themselves every single day. And that's basically what leadership's all about. It's about, it's about other people. It's about, you developing yourself, but, giving what you've developed it within yourself to your people, adding value to your people, and enabling them to do what you need them to do and what they need themselves to do as well. So basically, that's what it's all about.
It's actually a matter of culture. It's many business owners believe that on numbers, they just have a look at numbers, but actually numbers came as a consequence of your people working in a healthy environment, in a good way, in a motivational or empowering environment that you create. So it's a matter of the culture in your company. It's a matter of the values you believe in. And of course, it's a matter of the team capabilities that you gain every time that you hire someone new. So like hiring also the right people is correct. But I have actually a question for you, Tom. And my question is the following one, because I am quite worried sometimes about how many people are actually, they just talk, they just do the mentoring, and that's perfectly fine, but everything stays in their head. So as much as you want to delegate, especially if you have a new team member joining, it might be really difficult for them to following you, because there are so many things new, and they just need, like the word that you used, he might remember like a synonym. So actually it might be that in the moment where the team member has to take the action, actually he just slightly out of the track. So how do you manage something like that? Because delegating to me is, if you want to properly delegate, you need to write down the procedure, which doesn't necessarily mean that you need to write down every situation. So what I usually says is, if I just suggest, for instance, like if you have this situation coming up, like the classical one might be that the team member needs to sell like a package. If you can say in the procedure, if the sale is up to £500, it's on the team member capability. So if it's from 500 to £1,000, maybe you need to escalate it to the department. If it's from more than 1,000, you are going to escalate it to the founder. I think, and in this way, like the team member has like some kind of structure in front of them, and they know how to start moving these steps. So, you know, like today it might be that they take care about only the 500, but tomorrow when they get more confident, when they know your culture, they are going to move into the step of 100 to 1,000, etc. And move forward from that. So actually my question is, how do you make sure that a new team member actually doesn't need necessary to come up to you at the beginning and just move their own steps like independently?
Well, first of all, before you delegate anything to anybody, you need to make sure that the person you're delegating to understands exactly what's being delegated first. So first of all, it's like if you're in a leadership position and you know how to do the job and you know how to do, you know, whatever, how you just described, like selling or whatever like that, then it would be a good idea for that to help or to advise that person to sort of shadow you for a while, you know, see how you do it, you know, follow you, see how you do things. Or if you work in an organization that's, you know, quite big, and you have your own like training department and stuff like that, then, you know, put them through the relevant training before they take on any delegation from you. You know, make sure that you're 100%, you know, clear, make sure you're 100% comfortable in delegating to the certain person, and then make sure they're 100% comfortable in taking on what you're delegating. You know, don't just delegate it to them because you feel it's the right thing to do. Make sure that what you're delegating, the person's absolutely fine with what you're delegating, and you're absolutely fine in actually delegating it as well. You know, you both feel comfortable. It's like a two-way street, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, it's a kind of onboarding time. The one that you're describing is what I call like onboarding.
Well, sort of, yeah. But like, make sure that, you know, the person that you're delegating to knows exactly what's being delegated, and the only way to do that is to develop them, first of all. And then the best way to develop them even further is to actually do the delegation so that they do it themselves, take the action themselves, make mistakes themselves, learn from those mistakes, and keep going. And another way to do that, as I say, is to shadow you as the leader. You know, see how you do it. So like, as you say, there's a lot of things that's stuck in leaders' heads when they should. It's like talking the talk, but, you know, walk the walk. You know, lead by example. You know, show your people how to do things and how you would, you know, how you feel is the best way to carry out certain tasks. And, you know, if they follow you for a certain amount of time, delegate it to them and see how they do it. And then you never know. They don't have to do everything exactly the same way you did it, They might learn new things themselves by doing it a certain way themselves. They might improve things. They might bring in new ideas. They might be able to improve the process that is in place. They might be able to improve, any procedures or policies that you have that are in place as well. So it's sort of having that sort of power within yourself to give away your power, having that being comfortable within yourself to do that, and making sure that the person that you're giving your power to is comfortable in receiving that power and feels comfortable to take the action and, walk their own walk as well as talk their own talk as well. So it's sort of like a bit of a sort of two-way street, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I agree. I just want to make sure that this concept is clear for everyone. And I appreciate that you mentioned, like, it doesn't necessarily mean that they need to do exactly as you did, but they can make mistakes, etc. So I just sum up usually saying, like, you can't have any clone of yourself. So usually when people started to delegating, and it was in the old-fashioned way, they usually there are like some misalignments because they do the thing in one way and then expect the result from another person exactly in the same way. So I call it usually the clone. You can't have any clone because you are different, a different person. So if you want a clone, you are just getting into the managing people and not in the leadership. This is my personal idea. So definitely you need to keep on mentoring, and mentoring to me means not just making questions, because questions for me is coaching. Mentoring is making questions in a way that they actually are understanding where you want to go to, but at the same time, so you're showing them your experience so they can learn from your journey as well. And another thing that I will do for a good leadership and for helping you out on stay on track is measuring the results with the result as an outcome with the KPIs. I think those ones helps a lot.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, as a team and as a leader, one of the most important things within a team is to get great results, isn't it? And
yeah, but you need to measure them, because actually the persons sometimes they don't really know what the success means exactly.
Well, exactly, and the only way to do that is to look at your past results and say, look, are we improving? Are we getting worse? And what are the reasons for that? What are the reasons for us for getting worse? And what are the reasons for us for improving? So, and if you are improving, see if you can keep improving, continuous improvement every day. It's like when you sort of comparing yourself against yourself, like how good was you yesterday? Let's see if you can be better today. So it's like it's the same with the team. Like any result, it's up to you as the leader and as the team to try and keep improving those results, even if they're already good. See if you can improve them even more. It gives that team something to strive towards and something to, want to get better, keep getting better within themselves and within the team, and as you say, measure what you've done before, so you can keep getting better.
Yeah, I think that measuring actually allows you to create the consistency, because somehow you can predict what is going to happen in the future. So for instance, like if you know that with that diet, you lose like 1 ounce every ounce is the word, or kilos do you use? Which one do you use?
I use stone, but you don't lose a stone in one day. So maybe pounds or kilos or something like that.
Okay, so let's assume, for instance, that you lose 1 pound in 1 week. I don't know. I'm just assuming. And because you have measured it yourself back in the days, like in the Monday, and then on the Sunday, you know that you are 1 pound less. This allows you to create a kind of predictability for the future. And this allows you to create more stability in the team, because people knows where they actually needs to go. It helps you in creating the kind of structure that actually allows you to avoid chaos. And this is just like a benefit for your business in terms of numbers, so financial numbers, in terms of your reputation with clients, and in terms of the people that work for you and with you, because they feel safe. So yeah, definitely I will just measure. How many times do you think like you need to do this review or measurement or whatever you want to call it? Once per week, every month? How do you organize this review? How do you measure how you were before, or how your team member was before compared to whatever is going to be today?
Well, it depends what you're talking about. I mean, if you're talking about, let's say, team performance, you probably measure that, like, say, once a month, sometimes once every 3 months, sometimes once every 6 months. If you're talking about like a one-to-one, like a one-person performance, maybe once a month or something like that. But you can have like one-to-ones every 2 weeks or every week. But it's not. I don't think it's a great thing in all of your one-to-ones to keep talking about performance, because you want to talk about the person as well. You know, you want them to talk about themselves and how they feel. So but if you're talking about, like, say, a business performance, you probably do those measurements, like, say,
I'm not talking about business performance. I'm talking, you are a leader. You have some people that has to follow in you. Doesn't necessarily mean that you are going to take the person on a call one-to-one and have a discussion about what was your performance or what was your attitude, etc., which usually are the point.
What results were you thinking of when you asked that question then?
Sorry? No, my question was...
Were you thinking of when you asked the question?
My question is how many, I mean, what is the frequency which you do believe it's good for measuring how the team is performing or how the person is performing? Because you say, like, as a team, you can measure it every month, every 3 months, every 6 months. What is changing? Because there is a huge amount of time between 1 month and 6 months. So based on your own experience as a leader, how do you think people need to do it? How many times?
Well, as a team, probably about once a month, I would say. And then, as I say, as an individual, probably the same, probably once a month, but still have those one-to-one conversations every week or every 2 weeks.
So you always have a one-to-one conversation with the person.
Yeah, and you can have you'll have, say, a team meeting as well every month. And during that team meeting, when you have those monthly team meetings, that's when you talk about the team performance. So I'd say, like, the meetings for an hour, you can talk about the team performance for, like, say, 20 minutes or something, and then for the rest of the meeting, you talk about what's on people's minds and what's on the agenda and stuff like that. So you probably say, like, once a month would be good to measure team performance, I would say.
Okay. Yeah, I to me it's the same. I think, like, every month it's better to double check what is working, what is not working, what improved, and what for some reason just slightly went off. And trying to understand what happened. Maybe the person had personal reasons why the performance dropped down, and so you need to take care about that person with special needs. I mean, there might be so many things, but yeah, also based on my experience, every month is a good way to just to revise where you're going.
Yeah, definitely. And sometimes, like, when I was mentioning about like 3 months and 6 months, I was talking about, like, say, the corporate, because sometimes you got to do these corporate performance reviews where you get like objectives and stuff like that, and
But that's
you
very formal.
yeah, you have to sort of look at them every so often, but not once a month. But when you're a leader of a team, you know, and the team are your responsibility, and you feel like you've got a personal sort of, you know, touch with the field with the team. You know, I think once a month would be a good way to measure team performance. And as I say, having your one-to-ones every week is still, or every 2 weeks, whatever you think is still good.
Yeah, which doesn't necessarily mean that actually needs to be like a formal meeting or on.
No.
Yeah.
But sometimes you do have to do those things. I do have experience with that.
Oh yeah, that's good. I think like the corporates when they do like the performance meeting, it's really based on my own experience, they do it once per year, usually because they have to, and very few times they actually listen to feedbacks, and that's a bad leadership.
Yeah.
So people do not really like working in corporates. As a human aspect, they may like the kind of complexity in the project that they are working for. They might like that they are like working for such a big name in the industry, but I think I never heard anyone really happy about the leadership style, because usually people told me, you know, I just wrote my feedback in the form. I just talk with my leaders during my meeting on the calendar, and nothing changed. No one of my feedback has really been listened to. So this leadership doesn't work at all. People,
Yeah.
as soon as they want.
Yeah,
Sorry.
it's too, like, sort of hierarchical, isn't it? It's too sort of, there's too many layers of leadership. Whereas, like, say that, like, the CEO or the president of the company, there's no way like the team, like a certain team, is going to ever meet him or her. You know, because if it's like a global company and they're based on the other side of the world, you know, you're never going to meet them, which is a shame. But as I say, it's because of the size of the company. If it's a global company, those types of things are not the greatest. But
Yeah,
I
I always
lead your own.
say, yeah, corporates works in a kind of bubble in my idea, because I understand that because of complexity, you really need to bring in a very strict structure, which might go against human laws. So usually I just say like, do not consider corporates, because they work completely in another world compared to all the rest of the businesses, most businesses or medium-sized businesses.
Yeah.
So we are at the end of this live. Thank you, Tom. And I want to ask you if you want to add anything, if you have any question to me. I mean, the space is yours. Whatever you want to say, you're free to say it. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, you know, this is our last LinkedIn Live, but what's your next steps? What are you thinking? Is there any more LinkedIn Lives that you want to do, or any new ideas that you want to share with your audience?
Yeah. So of course, I'm not gonna give up on lives, because somehow I have the space for talking about my ideas, which is great. I'm very grateful for it. So I am in the process of organizing like another series about the PMO, which is the project management office. I'm already in contact with such a great project managers. So as soon as we finalize the program, the dates, that will be like, I will start a program demo online. I still don't know when. I was hoping to start on February, and then it's my fault. Something come up, and I didn't have the time for really take care of it. So the PMO is the project management office, and I really want this live because I work with services, and what happen usually is that the founders they just started with the first client. Sometimes they don't even know how, and then they keep on going. But because they never actually made this a real thought at the beginning, their business might look the same as the competitors, which doesn't give you value in the market, which drop down the value of your quotes, because actually you are kind of generalist. Like the expression when people in your team are actually moving somewhere else and they just say something like, working for this company or for the other one actually is not changing anything. And because the two companies are working in the same type of projects. But what is changing is actually the culture of the company. So the culture was part of the leadership, but I want to build something also in terms of why you are specialized in something, and the PMO is going to help us in this, bring a standard, bring a structure, understanding most of it, what kind of project really are the best for you, and what kind of project worth your time, because we need to prioritize. We can't just do everything. We wish for it, but time is limited, and we need to face this reality. So that one is definitely one. Then there's going to be like other lives. I think next week there's going to be one just by myself about the difference between being a leader and being a manager, because too many people just use one role instead of the other one. But sometimes it can get confused because the roles are very different, and the people, based on who you're talking with, they might get an idea, and instead you are thinking about the other role. So I want to bring clarity about this topic as well. And then, I'm still figuring out the next topics, but definitely I'm not going to stop with lives. And if you want to join more lives, I'm here. You can always call me, Tom.
Yeah, I've got my own live as well, which is tomorrow. But I also just wanted to mention, if you don't mind,
of course, go ahead.
On the 31st of January, I'm going to be publishing my 6th book. It's called The Young Leader, and it's targeted at 13 to 23-year-olds and trying to inspire them to grow into highly effective young leaders. So if you know anybody who knows a 13 to a 23-year-old, or anyone who's between the age of 13 and 23 within your audience, look out for my new book. It's going to be my 6th book. It's part of the Highly Effective Leaders series on Amazon. And I'm going to be sharing about it on LinkedIn for quite a bit. So keep your eyes up for that.
Yeah. Why do you think that actually being a leader, like a young leader, is different from being a leader of our age?
Well, it's more about leadership development at a young age, because like you, in my experience when I was that age, I never got any leadership development. In fact, I never got a leadership development until I was in my late 20s, early 30s, and a lot of people don't. Like my niece and nephew are 18 and 20, and they've not received any leadership development either. And they were sort of my inspiration to write this book, because I think, in my opinion, we should be developing at least, from the age of 13, when you become a teenager, learning those leadership skills, learning how to lead, so that by the time you do go into the world of work, you understand how to lead people and how to do those types of things, and how to work with a team, how to collaborate with people, how to influence, because everybody in the world can be a leader, because everybody's got the skill, the ability to influence somebody. And that's why I think doing that at a young age is a lot more important nowadays. And that's why I want to publish this book.
Yeah, I mean, it's important to every age. I think that back in the days, and I'm not talking so long ago, like 10-ish, maybe even less years ago, there was a really huge lack of training and leadership and managing as well, which today we can see the consequences of having a role without the proper training, and making them mistakes by yourself. And sometimes those mistakes might be too badly that you can't actually erase them completely. So training, it's always a good thing. So thank you so much for writing down this book, because we really need it.
Yeah, my pleasure. And maybe it can develop into something more from a book. You never know.
You never know. Definitely. Life is so unpredictable. Thank you so much, everyone, for having me here. Have like Anis saying insightful. Thank you for your comment. I'm really happy. I'm really glad that you liked this talk. Tom and I, we can do other lives in the future. I'm more than happy in that. And I mean, if you have any questions, if you want to discuss any of these ideas further, please feel free to contact Tom and I on LinkedIn, on our profile, send us a DM, or just write down a comment below this video. And if you can, just tag us, because in that way, I'm going to receive at least the notification, and it's easier to me to follow up, to reply to your question. So I would just close it here. Thank you so much, everyone. And this series about the next future generation leader is over. I hope you had a lot of inspiration on it. And thank you. And see you in the next live. Bye.
Yeah. Thank you. Bye.